Hello and welcome to the Dirt Racing Series, Season 3. We're going to quickly jump onto this one, so we're going to go through things quite quickly on the B plus Col du Soleil EMEA West Division in the final race on Lady Liberty. Looking at the current team standings before so this is the team standings before Stage 4, which has just happened. So this is after 3 stages. Valhalla, Grandbite, as we saw in the last race, dominating the league so far, 60 points, followed by Cobra Kai on the dirt teams on 55, BZR, the inaugural winners on 52, and Dirty Eagle Fan joint in 4th with Team NL and Level Racing, so really tight for that 4th place, and then possibly a big fight 2nd and 3rd. Going on to the individual rider standings, and we'll take a look at what happened in race 4. So we've got Greg Pierce after his win in the last race, comfortably out in front, really impressive performance. Then a tight battle for the rest of the podium spots between Christophe de Grom from BZR, Markian from Dirty Eagle Fan, and Sandra Huber from Pain Cave Heroes. So we're just going to jump on to briefly look at the results of the last race for you on the time trials, see if we have it. So we've got a couple of minutes left before the start of the race. So this is the team time trial. And as we can see, these include, there should be 30 seconds gap between each team. So having a look at this, it looks like Dirty Eagle Fang. Oh, sorry. Already getting it confused between the two of them. Cobra Kai have chased down and caught up Valhalla, so they've gained a point on them. Some good performance. And looking like BZR have just pipped Valhalla as well, so Valhalla will be a bit disappointed with that performance, but they're a very strong points racing team and will possibly be able to make it up. Then looking back, BZR, oh, looks like they've just been pipped by Eagle Fang. Sorry, as in Valhalla and BZR have just pipped Eagle Fang, so that won't be the big gain that Eagle Fang would have hoped for to make it up. But it looks like they managed to beat Team NL and Level Velo quite comfortably, so they might have sealed their 4th position with that performance. But it's still going to be to play for going to the final race that we're about to watch now. So taking a quick look at the course for you, hopefully a lot of you are familiar with it. Lady Liberty, you've got 2 segments to play for today. The New York KOM, which is the big hill, very close to the start, and then the NY Sprint, which is almost immediately after the downhill. So very important, that position on the first climb, because those positions are going to use, those high up in the field are going to get a lot of the first cross the line points on that sprint as well. What will be important though is they also want FTS points, so some of those riders will possibly drop back after they get to the top and try and jump onto a group so they get a bit more draft coming through. So jumping onto the stream for you now. See if we can identify the kits for you. As ever, most of the teams are fairly clear from what you know before, or what you might have seen before. You can see on the right of the screen in the blue, Valhalla kit, not the Cryogen, which is the lighter blue, but the dark blue. It's a Valhalla team. L trim text you might be able to see. Currently in the league, Greg Pierce just ahead of him on the favourites, and Benjamin Buck, but he'll probably be up there for the climb. He's been dominating as well on the climbing courses. Then we've got Dirty Eagle Fang in the Dirt Community kit, which is this orange one, and then Cobra Kai, you might just be able to see Ian Cobra in the lava, the black kit with lava written on top in red. So they're our other dirt team. As we start to set off. So when we come out the start here, it is a bit of a push to begin with, but then it settles in quite quickly into a downhill where people will be able to super tuck. So it's important you get out hard, get your speed up, but quickly see a couple of people on front. Eagle Fan pushing at the front. Most of the riders will just do enough to get up to speed and then just relax again. Seems a very early attack. Can't imagine it's a purposeful attack from the Eagle Fang rider up the road. See a couple of Valhalla riders towards the front as well, possibly just keeping an eye on it. But again, I think they're fairly confident with where they are and aren't going to need to do too much chasing in this race. A couple of the TFC riders moving forward in the yellow kit, and then the Level Velo is the almost yellow, kind of neon green kit. They'll just zoom into there. Might be able to see it there with the Moore written on it. Maury. Let's see, this is the Super Tuck section. So riders can do 0 watts per kilo down here if they wanted to, just needing to come out now. We've got a little bit of a climb. It's not too much, but enough to kind of make riders work a little bit before we get into the actual full climb itself. And on the full climb itself, we have a few distractions to begin with. There's about 2 minutes of climbing before the actual segment starts, including a segment banner that isn't for the segment that we're racing on. It's for the other direction up the KOM. The KOM itself is a tiered KOM. There's, including the full climb, there's 5 steep sections, shall we say, separated by flats in between. But the actual KOM itself has 3 main sections that riders will be wanting to punch up very hard, almost at, 1 minute, probably more like 2 minute, but close to 1 minute numbers, and then resting at like 2-3 watts per kilo, hopefully taking advantage of the draft in between. So having looked at the times, as we saw earlier, it looks like Cobra Kai will have gained 2 places on Valhalla. Could have been 3, but Eagle Fang just narrowly were pipped by them. And that will cost them, because that extra place could have made a real difference. But again, it is going to be a tight competition here between Valhalla Grandbiter and Cobra Kai. The team see the lava kit here with the green hat at the back. That's Darren Manza, I think. Maybe not. It's going to be very tight between them, but importantly now, Cobra Kai need another rider in between. I think it's Iron there. Apologies, Iron. Cobra Kai are going to need another rider in between themselves and Valhalla if they want to take first, or get themselves joint first on the podium for this series. Let's take a look at Goose here, just relaxing. So here we're going into the start of the climb, but not the start of the KOM segment. So here we'll just get some of the points on the screen for you. So this segment is both FTS, fastest through segment, and first across the line, so lots of points available. Generally though, with a climb and a segment that's this long, those points are going to be largely taken by the same people. There is a slight advantage starting towards the back, but not a huge one. You see the group really stretching out here. You see Joey just getting a bit far back there from Cobra Kai, which I wouldn't recommend to see TFC really. It's not TFC, it's Level Velo really pushing the pace at the front there. And these gaps are starting to get quite big across the group looking back, and that might not necessarily be overcomeable if Trillemans from Level Velo pushes the pace up again here. The riders hanging towards the back need to watch out. See that segment banner there, as you saw maybe just on the road, the red dotted line, that isn't the correct banner. See them coming into these steeper sections here, up to 13-14% there, and then we have a little gentler bit around 6% through the middle. The Huber coming through, very strong rider, and Schmidt, we saw him a few times it wasn't even last week, in the race on Harrogate, just pushing towards the front. Another good guy from KST. See a lot of TFC riders towards the front here, possibly hoping to get quite a few in this front group. I suspect we will have a couple of groups on the road as we come over the KOM. It's a defining feature of this race, and it's a very short race, looking at 12 and a little 12.2, 12.3 kilometers. It's a very short race, so there isn't going to be time for lots of the groups to come back together. You see just ahead of us is the start of the segment banner, so there will be riders dropping towards the back. You see him coming through the banner now. I'm going to jump back towards the back to see where riders are. Again, you don't want to be too deep here. See Buckby quite far back. Expanding this segment will suit him. May not be as punchy as is possibly needed here, but he's a very strong rider. You can see how far back it's got stretched out. People dropped off the back already. Some of the Eagle Fang riders are going to be disappointed for them. But again, good that they've got enough riders here. Again, teams can have up to 8 riders racing today, but only the top 4 point scorers will count. A couple of Team Valhalla riders a bit towards the back of the group here. I think they might be caught out slightly as the front is pushing on hard. See Craig trying to move through for Cobra Kai. Another Valhalla ride and a couple of the Eagle Fangs, but up at the front it's a real mixed bag, but TFC very well represented. Bosco Uribe returning this stage, and Greg Pierce as well, pushing the pace. Very experienced riders from Valhalla. Just holding position. A couple of KST guys in there. Seeing the blue and grey camo kit. EMEA, another experienced rider from Team NL. And I think this group is going to, while it's only separated by about a second here, Buckby might be able to jump across. See Jers from SDW, Southborough, doing really well here. Another strong one. There's so many big names in this field who can do some damage. Joey's going to be one of the favourites, I think, for Cobra Kai. Goose There you see Goose on the right with his trademark helmet and his little rear view camera. And Greg Pierce leading the way. And this is where we start to see people making breaks. See Bosco Uribe responding to that, possibly knew his teammate was going to go. Joey also responding. Again, Pierce taking a little bit of a gap, and it's going to be a sprint up this final climb. And Huber, Gubby from TFC just bridging across to Pierce. You won't be too happy with that, but this is where we're going to see the KOM decided. We're going to see sprint numbers up here as Joey goes first. Can he get that gap that's needed? Uribe responding, but does he have enough? I don't think he's going to have enough here. Pierce doesn't seem to have it today. Very strong. He's going to come through for some strong points though, but Joey looks like he's going to take it here. Markian for Eagle Fang doing very well. It's DeGrom up there. See a couple of riders starting to drop back. Buckbee's managed to make it across towards this front group. And it's starting to really spread out, and Joey's going to comfortably take the FTS and foul here for Eagle Fang. For Cobra Kai, apologies. Markian for Eagle Fang in second place at the moment. DeGrom's chasing him down, but he's not going to hold it. Markian just putting a little bit of a dig. This is where we want to see the front riders start to ease up a little bit. They should have STS in the bag there, and they want to save themselves and make sure they're group for the downhill. Just take a look at those coming through the line. Pierce coming through for a couple of points. And those teams who can pack out that top 10 are going to make the big difference. Valhalla with 2 in there. Not sure if Goose managed to get in that top 10. I think 9th there for Goose. So again, good points for Cobra Kai, but he might just miss this front group, which he'll be very disappointed about with a sprint like his. 2 seconds back going into a downhill, and where he's been really unfortunate is this group ahead has all crossed the line a bit closer together, and they've all managed to bunch up when super tucking. Whereas he's 4 seconds back, and it's just going to be too big gap. He's going to have to sit back and jump on with those behind him and focus on those sprint points. As we expected, it's really separated up. We've got a bit of a group around 30th. I expect some of these smaller groups will start to bunch up. See the big advantage, see Buckby pushing very hard there. He's going to be in the 2nd or 3rd group on the road when it all comes back together. Maybe not what we'd like to have seen up the climb. Again, it's a very punchy climb as talked about earlier. There is an advantage for the fitter, lighter riders, but it's more about having the punch and the ability to soar with Joey, a really punchy rider, taking it over for first. So again, currently this is looking very good for Valhalla and very good for TFC. 2 riders in the front group for each of them. Disappointing for Cobra Kai with Goose not quite making the front group. BZR with 1 rider in there. But just look at the names in the group behind. Vermeer, Schmed, Trillemans, Goose, all chasing down. They're definitely going to be doing a lot of work to try and catch back onto those leaders. The question is who's going to do it? Who's going to willing to sacrifice themselves a little bit to get back on? All individual riders back there. So as we're coming into the sprint segment, sorry, I've left that on your screen for a while. Hopefully you know where the segments are now. We're starting with on the right hand side, and it's all about being able to stay in the draft here. Greg Pierce is going very hard. He might be able, if he can get the gap here, that'll be great for him. But you see a rider from deep might have a bit more advantage here. I don't think Pierce is going to be caught now. No one responded early enough. DeGrom's going hard. Markin's going really hard. Joey's going very hard. But they all left a little bit too late. I think Joey's going to push through here, take some points. But no, he didn't quite do it. Markin came through for 2nd. Joey for 3rd. And Greg Pierce first. And first FTS by 0.02 seconds. Again, there are other riders from chase groups coming through hard. Goose, I believe, from Cobra Kai, taking first FTS there off him. But Valhalla have Tredgeford, I believe, in 2nd, Schmet in 3rd. And then Ian from Cobra Kai coming through for first again. FTS, the times are constantly changing as those chase groups come back through with bigger numbers, higher speed, and more reason to focus. Whereas these leaders want to be saving themselves a little bit for the finish, which is in just under 6 kilometers now. Again, that's a good performance from Cobra Kai. 2 up there on the podium, but again, Valhalla are very much matching them. So it's going to come down to this finish, and I think one of the most important things will be whether this chase group gets back on, allowing Goose to get back in the front group. It will give Valhalla an extra rider in that front group, but bringing back a strong sprinter like Goose to go with Joey and provide strong competition for the likes of Greg Pierce for this finish. It is a downhill finish. It will suit heavier riders, and having 2 riders with strong 1-minute numbers and strong 15 seconds will make a big difference. See there, big chase down coming now from Ura of KST. And this is the problem. All these riders are riding individually. It's exactly what we expect to see SDW Southborough Wheelers pushing together. And that's the difference. These three are working together, sacrificing themselves for their teammates and taking little bursts on the front. There's a good chance now with three from the same team working together that they could chase down the leaders and have a very big group going into the finish. Whereas the group behind, as you saw from KST getting across, but it's all individuals. No one wants to be the one to help another person across, and that's why you'll see the likes of sprinting rather than just easing it together, wasting a bit of power, wasting a bit of energy in his legs, but meaning that it doesn't help anyone else get across. See Trillermans from the level velo closing the gap now on one of the two, maybe three slightly climbing opportunities to get back on. See Goose doing it as well, jumping across hard, trying to break the gap so he doesn't help them back. At this point it's inevitable that they'll get back across, but you don't want to give them any extra help here. As we see Pierce pushing hard here, possibly trying to stop others getting back on. Aribe's going as well. Huber had his wheel, but again, there's no way he's going to stay away solo, and so he's just slowing up at the top. Again, very good riding there. Just trying to keep it apart, possibly stop others getting on. And now Huber coming through with a bit of momentum, but again, he's not really trying to break it up here. I think everyone knows they're not going to stay away from such a large group of about 12 riders, maybe 15 riders. If the Valhalla guy gets back on, but you see he's dropped back and he doesn't seem to be having it. This isn't great for Valhalla. This rider solo is definitely gonna be caught by the group behind. If he's suffering as much as he looks like he might be, then he might not do too well in that group. So it's turning out quite well for Cobra Kai. But looking at the numbers, looking at the people in the front group, I doubt they're gonna take over that advantage and do enough to make the 2-place advantage that they need over Valhalla. TFC are definitely going to be doing well and happy with this. KST have 2 riders now in the front group as well, and they're 1 place ahead of them. They're both fighting for 7th place. Level Velo in 6th, and Team NL in 5th are going to be possibly struggling and being chased down by the 2 of them. But again, it seems like it's very consistent at the top. Good points from Valhalla, good points from Cobra Kai, strong performance from Eagle Fang as well. BZR maybe not quite as well as they want to be, but again, they've got a rider in the front group. That makes a big difference with points at the end if they can get some strong finish points. So definitely going to see some changes in the table, especially that fight for 4th place. But it looks like Eagle Fang very much may have that after such a strong performance in the TT. Maybe not quite as much as they'd like. Narrowly missing out to Valhalla and BZR by 2 seconds across both. But they should have comfortably got that 4th place. So as we turn right here, we've got another right-hand turn ahead, then we've got the final section of climb where these gaps can be chased down and where the chase group has an opportunity to make it. They're looking at 13 seconds back now. Suspect that's going to be too much with only less than 3 kilometers to go. Looks like SDW have just relaxed a little bit on the front, not wanting to do too much. I think they know they're not going to make it across now, unless it's going to be a huge effort if any of them do. See Iron pushing hard. It's his last opportunity, but they don't. Oh, he's going for it. It's very possible with this last section of climb, it's all downhill into the finish, but that's why the group will have an advantage over solo riders. But this front group are all kind of playing cat and mouse a bit. No one wants to push, no one wants to waste any energy. We've got Trillermans pushing the front at 3.94 watts per kilo at most. 1.4 behind him again. No one's doing any work. So this chase group does have the potential to get back on CI and closing it to 5 seconds now. The downside of this, he's doing so much work. So he's just letting someone else go ahead of him. Very good tactics, letting someone else do the work. They've got 1 more section of climbing. Just a gentle ramp up. But by the time they've made this, all the rides ahead have been chilling, relaxing, and they're going to have much more energy left for that sprint finish. And it's definitely worked out well for Southborough Wheelers, bringing back 3, 4, possibly even 4 of their, I think it's just 3 of them, 3 of their riders to the front group. Cobra Kai have another, with Ian coming in, Iron coming in. So again, good performance. And Eagle Fang bringing a couple of riders back. It's definitely working in the favour of Cobra Kai getting more riders into that front group. But But again, they need another team to beat Valhalla if they're going to dethrone them. With the form Greg Pierce in, it's going to be a big ask. So a couple of people pushing the pace here. Don't tend to see any realistic attacks. People will push to try and keep the pace high, make others work, because it's your last opportunity to do it without too much draft. But again, no one's going to beat the pace of a group on the long downhill we have into the finish. See Uribe pushing hard here, so this is a long attack. Someone needs to respond. The numbers he's doing, there's a chance they might stay away here. It's disappointing to see no one grab his wheel. If he can hold 6 to the finish maybe from here, there's a chance Bosco Uribe may stay away, and that's a fantastic move. We've got nothing to lose at this stage. There's lots of other riders from other teams behind them. Might as well give it a chance and try and have other stronger riders from Cobra Kai lead out. Just get the finish points on the screen for you now though, because compared to some of the finish points are big, but they're not an absolutely massive disproportion. So first is important and it will help, but more importantly is having multiple riders in the front group. So it looks like the chase group haven't quite made it on yet. See them starting to go now. And it's really important. Cobra Kai have a lot of riders there and they are doing the work to close it. And what will be interesting is as they come through the group, they're going to hit the group just at the start of the downhill, looking about 700 meters to go. I'll be amazed if anyone catches Uribe here. 10 seconds. They're going very early, and it's a real important thing here is keeping in the draft. Keeping towards the front, but in the draft, and then coming through hard. See, going from Kerr's team, Markin from Eagle Fang going his wheel, but they're all going too early. They will be caught by people behind. The ideal time to go is probably somewhere in the next 5 seconds. So take a look at the likes of Joey and Greg Pierce. Exactly where I'd expect, just a few seconds back. Uribe's going to come through for the window. Sorry, I'm not going to follow him, but I suspect he's going to hold off here. And now we want to see people starting to go. Huber's going. Joey needs to respond. Greg Pierce can then see exactly there. They see someone go light up and going in his draft, and that's going to be a real shoot-off. Who can accelerate the most? See Joey coming through hard. Huber's going to take... Oh, it's going to be very tight going through the line. Joey's pushing through hard. Goose is coming through for second. And it's, really strong performance there. It looks like it was Bosco Uribe with a well-deserved win. Very well done to him. Followed by Goose from Dirty Cobra Kai. Followed by Joey from Cobra Kai, and then Greg Pierce in 4th. A really impressive performance from all of them. Jump back, see who we can catch further down the road from some of these chase groups. Really impressive finish there to the race. Very tight. Really experienced riders going exactly at the right moment, seeing one person going and then following them. They've left it a little bit late possibly, and it might have been interesting to see if any of the riders could have gone early, as we saw with Bosco Uribe doing. You just see the last few groups coming to finish around 45th place here. See here, this is the kind of move I was talking about. An early attack from BZR rider here. So another group. We're just going to watch this other group into the finish. Nice and tight from the SCW riders. Parky from Eagle Fang, but he's just gone a little bit too early and people are coming through to take it. But there we go. That early attack there has worked well. And if you go early enough, get the jump on this downhill, you can hold on to your speed for a while, because it's a downhill. It does some of the work for you. And so if, say, you're around this point, possibly even a bit early, you go really hard from the back of the group, you can come through and no one will get back on your wheel. When you get into this stage, once you're getting towards this bridge, it's too little too late. No matter what kind of numbers you produce, you're not going to move through significantly in your order. You need to be moving with momentum. And that's what caught a few riders out there. Huber went first, possibly not aggressively enough. He didn't quite have a big enough sprint for the day. If he'd gone a bit harder... Very easy to say in hindsight, but if he had enough energy to go a bit harder, maybe he could have taken the win. But he didn't get that 5-meter gap on the group, and other riders responded within maybe 2 seconds of him and were able to fly through, taking advantage of that momentum and just hitting the front at the right moment. You just see the last couple of riders coming through the line, and again, we've got the finish positions on the screen. You can see how important going back on the points is. Yeah, there's drop-offs every kind of 5-10 places. There's every 10 places a drop-off of 5 points. But again, even down to 60th place here, still getting 21 points. It still matters. So So every 10 places there's drop off with the points. Again, it's really important fighting for all these places because every single place matters. And it's something that I really think is great about this series and other series. Every group of places matter, but here every single point counts, so you have all these little battles going into line. You know, it might not mean much to some, but that 1 point between these 2 places down in 62nd and 63rd could be enough to get their team the win. And you don't want to be the person who's coasted across the line. So there's something to fight for everyone. Even if you can't keep up with the leaders, there's still points accessible to you. So when you're in a small battle like this, getting the jump can be everything on your opposition. So much a mental battle as it is a physical. See there, Dan O'Brien going for it again. You saw this last time from him. And he's got the jump. And again, Patterson here, you see those numbers, he's got the gap. You don't want to chase it down, he's doing very well. And Patterson has responded well here. O'Brien will need to push a bit more to hold him off. But it's very hard when you've done such a hard race and you see someone doing those numbers to chase it back down. See Patterson doing fantastically there, though, coming through. But he's easing here. This is the time to make it, to stick the win. He should have pushed on hard there, Patterson, taking the momentum and flying through. Whereas now he's given O'Brien a little bit of a chance. I don't think O'Brien's going to have it. He just left it a little bit too late there, O'Brien. Hit some big numbers, but Patterson's going to take it. And that was a real good opportunity there when Patterson came through. He was so close to the line, less than 100 metres to go. If you have that kind of momentum, just keep going. They're not going to jump back on that 5 metre gap, and so they're going to have to do at least 5 watts per kilo more than you within 100 metres of the line to chase that gap back up. He did well. He still managed to win. But he could have done it with a bit more comfort. Thank you very much for joining what has been a great series. Sorry I haven't managed to cover any of it. But yeah, it's been really interesting to see a different kind of variation in racing, lots of different formats, and not just every single segment counts, specifically chosen segments to have the different tactics play out. And with a very interesting point structure, it's a great series. I'd really recommend anyone who's been watching this to get involved next season. Grab your mates, get a team together, and come along. If you can't, there's plenty of options. If you join the Discord, lots of teams join together, lots of individuals join new teams. And there's an open search for if you're a rider looking for a team for the series. So please get involved when the next season comes out, which I'm sure you'll be hearing a bit about in the not too distant future. We're going to jump on and try and look at the finish results for you before we go. Just waiting for them to come up on the screen. Okay, so we're going to leave Dara here from Southborough Wheelers. We're going to watch him to the end. It's very good for him to keep on going. Big performance. You know, it does count, and having those extra riders, if you've only got 4, you're the 4th rider, those 20, 30 points you score is a big difference over teams that don't. It's really good to see him pushing through to the line here. And there we go. So we're going to get the points up on the screen for you. And as we saw, Bosco Uribe taking the win. Fantastic performance and a great tactical attack from him. Just out from the finish, it would have been good to see people responding, jumping on his wheel, but people weren't expecting it, and it worked perfectly. Goose coming through to take second, really impressive, good points on the sprint segment. He's riding for Cobra Kai, same with Joey behind in third, and really impressive to chase down that group, get across and take second place. Joey again, third place. Greg Pearce in fourth, completing his top 4 positions in the 4-point stages. Well, then the ITT. Really impressive individual performance from him in the series, and he's going to take the first place individually in this B+ division. It's really impressive. Christophe de Grom in 5th place, another great individual rider who's done well this series. A good performance at the end then. Mark Vermeer, Team NL in 6th. Looking at the general finish, Pain Cave Heroes, PCH did very well. A couple of riders in that top 10, top 11 even. Eagle Fang with Markin in 10th, but looks like Valhalla and Cobra Kai will have taken the top 2 spots. I'm not sure what order yet. I suspect Cobra Kai might just have pipped Valhalla, but they're going to finish in 2nd place in the league with Valhalla taking the well-deserved win. So congratulations to them and their team. And looking down, I've got some more good results from Eagle Fang and BZR with Christophe de Grom, but then there's a bit of a gap to Stephen Denise and Johan Tails down in 23rd and 18th. So possible that Cobra Kai might have caught up, Eagle Fang might have caught up some points on them, but I suspect BZR will probably have hung on for 3rd place, with Eagle Fang coming in 4th. Congratulations to all these riders and all those teams. It's been great seeing you, and thanks for joining.